Welcome to the Explainer. You know the feeling, right? Mismatched taglines, confused sales teams, it's messaging chaos. So today, we're going to break down how to create a messaging framework that actually works. We're going to build your single source of truth.
All right, let's dive right in. First things first, we've got to lock down the most important rule. Honestly, if you get this one principle right, everything else just falls into place so much more easily.
And here it is. It's super simple. Specific beats broad. Look, your first messaging doc, it's not for everyone. It's not for your entire market. No way. It's for one specific buyer in one specific situation. Think about it. It's like a perfectly tailored suit versus a one-size-fits-all t-shirt. Which one is going to be more effective? Exactly. That focus is what makes this so powerful for your team.
Now this builds directly on stuff we've talked about before. You've got competitive intelligence, or CI, which gives you that crucial outside-in view. Then you have personas, which really capture what your buyer's day-to-day job is like. And messaging? That's the final piece of the puzzle. It takes all that insight and turns it into consistent, powerful language that everyone can use.
Okay, so how do we take this idea and turn it into something real, something people can actually use? Well, that's where the messaging document itself comes into play.
You can really think of your messaging as having two distinct layers. They're like two sides of the same coin. On one side, you have brand. That's the big story, the feeling, the why. And on the other side, you've got product. This is the concrete proof, the features, the how. Your brand makes a promise, right? And your product is what proves you can keep it.
This document, think of it as your shield against this thing I call messaging drift. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's when different teams start using slightly different words, and before you know it, your core message is all watered down. To stop that from happening, this doc becomes the one central place for your positioning, your brand voice, your key differentiators, and that all-important messaging matrix. It's the only place anyone needs to go for the official word.
And hey, let's be clear, this isn't just some high-level, dusty strategy document that sits on a shelf. No, it's a practical toolkit. It's got the actual copy your teams need day in and day out. We're talking the boilerplate for a press release, the quick elevator pitch for when you're at an event, and even a list of words we love and words we avoid. It's all about making it dead simple for people to say the right thing every single time.
So that all sounds great, right? But how do we actually create this thing and, more importantly, get everyone on board? Let's walk through the alignment workflow.
The workflow itself is pretty simple, but listen, it is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to remember, messaging is an alignment artifact. It is not a creative free-for-all. The whole point here is to get consistency, not to have constant, chaotic changes.
So here's how it actually works. First, you go on a scavenger hunt. Collect all the bits and pieces of messaging you can find, from the website, sales decks, random notes. Then you run a single, super focused workshop, maybe 60 to 90 minutes tops. In that meeting, you define your wedge, that's your unique angle, and your core pillars, the big value props that hold it all up. And once everyone agrees, you lock it. V1 is done. Publish it, and then you hold the line. You don't touch it again unless you have hard evidence, and that usually means waiting at least 6 to 12 months.
All right, so for those of you who really want to take this to the next level, let's talk about how you can scale this whole system using automation. We're going to use a Microsoft 365 setup as an example, but really, the ideas here apply to pretty much any tech stack.
The huge unlock here is this idea called tokenizing your messaging. It sounds technical, but it's simple. You just break down your approved copy into reusable little blocks, or tokens. So your official product tagline, that becomes a tagline token. And here's the magic. If you ever need to update that tagline, you change it in one place, and poof, it automatically updates everywhere it's used. The website, sales decks, you name it. One change, and it instantly goes everywhere.
Now look, this isn't something you just flip a switch on overnight. It's a journey, a phased approach. You start simple. Phase 1 is just centralizing your messaging on shared pages. Easy enough. Then in Phase 2, you start introducing those tokens and some automation to help with publishing. And then, way down the road, in Phase 3, you could even have an AI agent propose changes, and all you have to do is give that one final human approval. Pretty cool, right?
But, and this is a big but, this kind of automation only works if you have really strict controls in place. You need some serious guardrails. We're talking clear rules. Only approved messaging gets tokenized. You have to define exactly where those tokens can be used, and you absolutely need a complete audit trail to track every single change. All right, last section. In this one, this might just be the most important. Let's talk about the single biggest reason these systems fall apart. It's the human element. And here's how you protect yourself from it.
This right here
This is the #1 pitfall. The trap is making constant, reactive little changes based on one person's opinion, or a single sales call that went sideways, or a competitor's latest blog post. You do that instead of waiting for real evidence, and guess what? You're right back in messaging chaos. It completely undermines the entire system you just worked so hard to build.
So, after all that, what's the one big takeaway? If you forget everything else we've talked about today, please remember what's on this next slide.
It all boils down to this 3-step mantra. You ready? First, pick a wedge. Start specific. Focus on that one buyer. Second, use the matrix. Map your core pillars directly to your personas. And third, lock it, then expand. You lock that document down and you only change it when a whole lot of evidence tells you it's time. That's it. That's how you build messaging that actually works and actually lasts.